College football playoff rankings come out on Tuesday. Here we are trying to figure out if Bama has a realistic chance to be in the college football playoff. If not, hey, let's all pack up and go to the Cheez-It Bowl. It's a big drop-off between the playoff and second place as far as destinations for the Crimson Tide. We're going to talk about Cheez-Its, Jake's favorite flavor of Cheez-It, and more right here on Elephant in the Room. Let me go ahead and play the open as he thinks about those very crunchy, spicy Cheez-Its. All right, there he is, Jake Coker, Mick Gillispie, a Cheez-It Bowl veteran.
You're a Cheez-It Bowl veteran?
You are.
Yeah, I guess, I don't even know what I played, or I was at the Citrus Bowl in 2011. Back then it was called the Champ Sports Bowl.
Much more respectable.
I'm not even sure what was the Champ's brand. I'm not even sure.
It was a sporting goods store. We used to get our stuff from Champs. Like if you wanted a hat or a shirt, like a Bama shirt or hat or your favorite baseball team, they had all that gear. It was like in the malls and sometimes in the strip malls.
Okay. Well, yeah,
I bet there were some Jake Coker jerseys. I'm being serious in some of those Champs.
Yeah, well, you're not going to survive in a mall these days.
You never know. It depends on what you're peddling.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I looked at my credit card statement at the end of this month, and my wife had a good time on Amazon. Online. Wow. It's too easy.
Yeah.
Too easy.
Well, that means you're going to have a big Christmas.
Means she had a big Christmas in November.
Well, look, the good news is that Bama still got a chance. We're going to talk about the Iron Bowl. Obviously, 28-14. I'm sure everyone by this time has, had those Iron Bowl conversations. But what a great win for Alabama. And then, now you sit back and you wait. They came in at number 11 in the AP and the coaches poll. Tomorrow we'll have the college football playoff committee. They'll rank all the teams and have them slotted. I got this feeling Notre Dame, Alabama, and South Bend's going to happen. It would be great for television ratings. And it's one of those games, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I may have to go to it. I've always wanted to go to South Bend for a game. And if it depends on what my schedule looks like. But if they make that game happen, it's worth going to. Two iconic brands. It'll be cold. See what Alabama does. Do they come out and play like they did against Auburn? Do they come out and play like they did against Oklahoma? And basically, to me, Jake, that is, are you interested in playing football, or are you just going to walk through? Because two different teams I've seen in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, we really have nobody to blame but ourselves. I think that Oklahoma game, especially if we don't make the playoff, is going to be one of those games that all these guys look back on and really have regret over. A team we should beat handily, should have covered the spread. Just a bad game and from all three phases. And, you just hate to see us out of that realm of controlling our own destiny. And that's the worst part about it. You just got to sit back and hope the committee makes the decision to put us in over a lesser team and SMU.
Yeah, look, I hope that happens. SMU hasn't played the schedule that Bama's played. We have a high standard at Alabama. I mean, look, it's obvious. But when you compare it to a lot of these teams, Indiana hasn't played the schedule, even close to it, and has wins. Bama's got wins over a bunch of top 25 teams. And Kalen DeBoer said it, and he's right, man. Bama's won like 6 out of 7? I mean, it's not like they're coming in where they haven't played good football. They had one letdown game. They've won the rest of them. And in this day and age of college football, if you want teams to go out and play those big games, you can't punish them. SMU doesn't have a game where they went to Wisconsin non-conference and played on the road. They don't have a win even close to as good as beating Georgia. South Carolina's turned out to be a pretty darn good win as well. Same thing with Missouri. I mean, these are some games that at the beginning of the year you're looking at, you're going, and on the road at LSU was ranked. Even the Iron Bowl. You know, these are all really tough games when you compare it to the schedule that we're seeing some of these other teams play.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Clemson, first game of the year, and I know I kind of hate to judge based on the first game of the year because I do think Clemson has gotten better as a team, but I still don't think they're, in that upper echelon of it's not a team that I look at and say, man, they got a chance at winning the national championship.
No.
And I mean, you look at their schedule, 2 out of their 3 losses, the only SEC teams they played this year, they got beat. The first one was they got completely dominated by Georgia, and then you get beat by South Carolina at home. And those are both teams that Alabama has beaten. So, it's hard to put Clemson at that level with Alabama right now. And then again, you look at SMU. My gosh, they played one ranked team this year and got beat.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you reward that? I'm sorry. It's crazy to me that they're number 9 in the country, or what are they now? Are they number 9?
Yeah.
They were last week.
They're probably they're moving up, man. I think they're up to number 7.
I mean, you can say that winning definitely is. It takes a team effort and culture to win consistently. There's no doubt about it. But when you don't have any ranked teams on the schedule and the one team you do have that's ranked beats you, it's kind of similar to where, if I'm looking at SMU and Alabama, if SMU gets left out, I don't know how you argue that you should be in it. You haven't done anything to prove that you're a playoff team. You haven't beat any of the teams that are ranked, let alone the top 12.
Right.
No team in the playoff have you beaten in the regular season or even played. BYU's, I mean, they're out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, and look, they weren't that good, man. I mean, they're okay, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating when you watch, the 12-team playoff supposed to solve everything. And, I mean, if it was a 4-team playoff, we wouldn't be even worried about it because we'd be out. But you would be looking at, I mean, Texas in the top 4, and their most notable win is Texas A&M, right? And they lose to Georgia, and that's really the only big-time matchup they had all year. I will give them Michigan. I mean, that was a game that years back could have potentially been really big. But I don't know. They come to the SEC, and I guess they worked out a deal.
You talked about Texas, and their fans will say, hey, man, you play Oklahoma and Arkansas. Some of these teams that just didn't have good seasons in one year, you expect to kind of have a tough schedule, but it just, at Michigan and all that stuff. But I think that for the SEC teams that they're playing tough schedules, that's just the nature of the beast now that we're looking at, because this new conference, the way that it's aligned, and you're adding 2 marquee brands. Oklahoma is just like Alabama. Even Bama's bad years, they're still capable of beating anyone on any given Saturday.
Well, 10 years ago, you used to be able to really build super teams with the structure that was in place. And the SEC, you could have a team that was that good that can consistently beat SEC teams, and potentially have one loss or be undefeated. And now, again, you lose all these guys. You can't compete in NIL. You're going to have more 3-loss teams in the SEC. It's just going to happen. And you're going to have to find a way to get those guys in. And these, the Pac-10 or whatever number they are now, Big Ten, all these out-of-conference schools, they need to find a way to play better competition. And, I mean, again, they're probably sitting back there thinking, man, if we can just go 11-1, play a pretty mediocre schedule, we're in. And I hate that. I hate to reward that. I mean, I was kind of looking forward to these super conferences because I felt like week in, week out, you're playing better teams, at least in the SEC. But, there's just no comparison in schedule across the board.
But it's been fun though, man. I mean, that's what makes it fun. I mean, we've had think about doing the tailgate show, all the big games that we got to cover this year. There's been years where you've had like, doing that show. I've done the tailgate show for like 10 years. There's been years where it's like, man, you got 2 or 3 really good big games. Not the case. We've had a lot of good games this year, whether they've been at home or on the road, and next year's schedule's even harder. The committee they have to take that into account, that we're out there actually playing like top-notch competition week in and week out compared to some of these other schools. Like some people have been like, well, in the playoff about having these other teams and these other conferences in. No, it's about just having more good teams in. The best 12 teams should be in. I think Bama's going to get in. I think they'll play Notre Dame. I think the reason they're going to get in isn't any of this stuff. I just think that TV ratings will be a lot higher if Alabama's playing Notre Dame. And and look, I'm just telling you, Jake, they didn't pay all that money to see SMU go to Notre Dame.
Well, I mean, first off, I think, look, it wouldn't be bigger ratings if Alabama wasn't better and a more proven program. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, if there is a team that's more deserving, plays a hard schedule, grinds it out, gets the wins, then, hey, they belong. But, I mean, SMU, I just, again, you can say they've done what they were supposed to do, but I harp on it again. No ranked wins.
Well, man, that matters. That matters too. I mean, you got to be.
But to your point, yeah, the people involved in college football that are planning on making as much money as possible, you would think that Alabama at Notre Dame, that would be, it's a historical matchup. You got the 2 most storied programs in the country. I mean, the production for that, the crowd. I mean, I don't care how many games are being played that day. Game day will be there.
Yeah. Oh man, can you imagine? I always wanted to go to South Bend and see Alabama play, but this one would be so meaningful. This Alabama team isn't one of my favorite teams. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I like watching them. I like them, but not. I haven't fallen in love with them. They're too inconsistent. Some of the shenanigans with these guys, after the Vanderbilt game and all that. And I forgive them. Look, I mean, it the heat of the moment. But my favorite teams are like the 2009 team with not as much talent, but a will to win. And 2015. I mean, Derrick Henry running through guys. I love the 2020 team. Enjoy watching all of those games.
You picked your favorite, Barron and me.
No, you guys right here. So
I noticed there was a degree of separation there.
Well, 2009, you got to remember, man. 2009 to me was the reason why 2009 special is Saban took the Shula guys and folded them and spun them around and molded them and turned them into champions. And those guys had to buy in. You know what I mean? Like, I thought the guy would come in and clean house. He didn't. He just took the guys that they had, added some guys to it. And those games were like, because we hadn't won in so long, being at those games was so much fun. And that national championship game.
Yeah, I mean, Barron
was awesome.
Yeah, Barron talked about just last Friday. He was talking about how bad they were when he was there. Because he was there from what was 10 his senior year? No, 09 was his senior. He got there in 04, right? No,
I think he couldn't be 04, 9.
Yeah, 05.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I couldn't remember if he gray shirted too. He was there. He was there 5 years. So he got there in 05.
Yeah,
05 was his freshman year.
So think about that. To to kind of go there, and then turn that into. I mean, I know you were pretty young back then, and we had some bad. Man, we lost all the rivalry games.
Oh no! I mean, I was a junior in high school then, and so when I was, hyper obsessed with Alabama football when I was, from I guess you're in third grade on.
Right.
You know, I mean, those were some pitiful years.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so why did you pick your number?
my grandfather wore number 14.
Really?
And then my older brother, my cousins, everybody wears 14 in my family.
Oh, it's a family number.
Yeah.
So your grandfather that played basketball wore that?
Yep. Basketball and baseball.
What was his name again?
Jules Meunier.
Oh man, I love hearing you say that. Jules Meunier.
He got drafted by the Celtics and the Yankees.
Man, I would love to admit that met him. Jules.
Oh,
if I have any more kids, I would love to have a Jules Meunier Gillispie. That would be a hell of a name right there. I'm not even kidding, man. I love that name. That is a cool name.
He's a stud.
Yeah, so that's cool. But you know what I mean? Like back in those days, like you're in high school, you like, you know, you got to pick your favorite player. You got to wear their number.
Were you going to ask me if I wore 14 because of John Parker?
No.
I love John Parker, but it's not that deep.
What number did Tyler Watts wear?
14.
Yeah, that's what I thought. See, I thought it was for Tyler Watts.
There you go. I love Tyler Watts too, but
Remember we played golf with his brother? Good guy.
Yeah, I think he's used to playing with more upper echelon talent and charisma.
Yeah, but nobody can drink beer with him better than me.
That's right.
You get to these golf tournaments and like you stop in a tent, and there's beer. So let's talk a little Iron Bowl though. You remember on the tailgate show, I told you it was going to be a butt whooping. I could feel it coming. I mean, I really could. They talk too much. That to me was like, if I was on their team, I would have told Alabama, hey man, we know they're the best team out there, and we're gonna have to play a perfect game to beat them. No, instead, you're telling the guy that I felt like played the most lackluster game I've ever seen him play. Like he didn't want to be there. That you're gonna run faster than him. He's not gonna run by you, right? The first touchdown, he like just schools you on an outside run.
I mean, I can't imagine when he was laying on the sideline watching Jalen go in the end zone, what his first thought was. Just shit.
That's like you just don't let your mouth write checks that you can't.
Hang on. Is the portal open yet?
They suck. Auburn sucks, man. They're so bad. They're so bad. Like I love it when these teams are like 5-6. They're like, you know, we're the best 5-6 team in the country. Man, there's a reason you're 5-6. But I guess it's the only thing worse is 5-7. And maybe you're the best 5-7 team in the country, right?
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, I think again, that was one of those deals where just trying to speak yourself into existence.
Yeah, right. And I felt like Alabama could have beaten them by more. If they would have just taken care of the football, this could have been another one of those trouncings. I mean, 28-14 really doesn't even tell you the story of the game. But I loved when Auburn tried their tricks. You know, they didn't work. And I see Hugh Freeze, like he just seems like he just seems like a guy that was put on a team that he's too good for. Like I'm with stupid. He needs like I'm with stupid t-shirt and then point to his team. He always just seems like he's like too good for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I like Hugh Freeze. He was always really good to me.
Could you have won with this team?
What?
If you were playing for him, I mean, could you have won with these guys?
I mean, that's hard to say when, you're not in the situation. I mean, I don't know. Peyton Thorne, he played well at times, but made critical mistakes. Especially at the end of a lot of these games. I mean, really, they were in a lot of these games, and they just found a way to blow it.
Right. That wasn't the case on Saturday.
No, it wasn't. But
did you ever back talk your dad? Like like get smart, like a smart mouth.
Like ever?
Yeah, like as a kid, you know,
I mean,
you're just gonna be a smart mouth, and
oh
then
yeah,
you got snatched up by your arm. Outside you went.
yeah.
That's what
Well,
happened to Auburn. That's what
yeah,
happened to
no.
Auburn. They smarted off. They got taken outside and spanked. It was sad to watch. Like, you know, I've seen it happen in like grocery stores before, or like at the mall. Like somebody's throwing a temper tantrum, and then you know, mom or dad snatches them up like right under their arm, and you're like, man, I don't know where that's going to end up, but
Yeah, I remember one of the last times my dad got me. We went to McDonald's or something, and you know, he got me a burger, and I was, you know, pissed about what was on it, you know, just complaining in the back seat. Just my dad loses his temper, and I'm getting out in the carport headed to the door, and I hear his feet coming around.
oh
And
boy.
I'm like, oh no, oh no. I tense up, and he gets me on the ass one good time, and I was like, man, that wasn't bad at all. And I look at him like, he looks at me like, that didn't hurt. I think I took a little confidence from him that day.
Yeah, you look at him and you go, I love onions and pickles. Auburn got that onions and pickles conversation. 5 straight, man. 5. Can you believe it? 5 straight, man. I mean, like it, and I don't know. I mean, look, next year, I can't imagine beating them again. I mean, just like by chance, right? But I love it. I've enjoyed every one of these 5. I've enjoyed the, you know, the heartbreaks that they've had down, you know, at Jordan Hare, and I've enjoyed the ass whoopings that they've got in Tuscaloosa. It's been 5 really awesome wins.
Yeah, I'm still trying to remember. I guess the last time we lost was at 19.
The Bo Nix game, where
Yeah.
they, you know, Auburn Jesus floated down, like Bo Nix threw the damn ball over the one guy's head, and another guy caught it. Then you had the play where Mac Jones came in and he threw the ball off of somebody. Another dude intercepted it, ran it like 95 yards for a touchdown. Then they did that weird thing at the end of the game. You remember where they tricked Nick Saban somehow, like to.
Yeah.
That's the last
Ran
time.
the clock out.
Yeah.
Auburn's gonna Auburn.
Yeah, but you know what? I can't tell you, the Bryce Young drive and the overtime win was great. They also got the Mr. Miyagi at the end, the crane.
Yeah.
And then
I saw Jalen pull that one out this week.
Yeah. Never forget.
Yeah, I think it was on the because it was on the first touchdown. I was like, okay, let's not get carried away too quick.
Yeah. Well, they backed it up this time.
Yeah.
They backed it up and they got the job done. So anyway, I loved it. Great Iron Bowl. Tuscaloosa was fun. Great atmosphere. You and I did the tailgate show from Innisfree, and we had a great. The tailgate show, we do it every Friday when there's a game. It's been fun just getting to hang out, meet so many people. Kind of like it's been a vibe in there, man.
Trying to think if we end up playing Notre Dame, we may have to go to Innisfree.
Yeah, I want to go to South Bend.
All right, I guess I'll remote into that show.
I'm not saying we'll do the show from there, but I also want to do a show from the Pie Factory in Jasper for Big Elmo.
Oh yeah.
That'd be fun. But Innisfree's been great, man. I love the stage in there.
It's on the it's on the first round's on the 21st, right?
Yeah.
Is that a Saturday? It is a Saturday this year.
I think there's a Friday and a Saturday game.
Okay.
Which they'd have to put that on Saturday, but I'd love it to be on Friday.
This is going to be so much better. I mean, I hate, honestly, when regular season ends, I can't stand it when you've got 3 weeks of really nothing, and then you got a lot of bowls that aren't that great. Teams you hadn't really watched all season and aren't ranked, and then all of a sudden it's playoff and boom, over.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the second place prize in this, which most likely would be, the Cheez-It Bowl, which is really the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. And look, I like going to Orlando, but that stadium is a piece of crap. I mean, it is a piece of crap. Compared to when you go to Atlanta or you go to Dallas, but I mean, bowl game wise, there were years that Alabama would love to be in that bowl game. Just man, to me, I don't know. That's one that I like the Gator Bowl better than that one.
Yeah,
I like a lot of them better than that one.
We end up going to the Cheez-It Bowl. The way we play in games that we,
ugly,
take for granted. I don't know if I'd take Alabama.
Well, I think, hey, look, if we end up in the Cheez-It Bowl, don't be surprised when these guys opt out. I can't imagine seeing the inconsistency in Jalen Milroe's game, which sometimes you wonder if he wants to be there. I can't. It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't opt out, and that's not a shot at him. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're not in the playoff, this isn't the Nick Saban era. You got also these other guys that need to start playing quarterback, and you're going to the NFL, and he's I don't know. He's going to end up being, I think, going to surprise a lot of people with his draft stock. I think he's going to end up a lot higher because when you start looking at his arm strength and his physique, and you start kind of thinking, hey, NFL guy, do this, do this, do this. He could be like Anthony Richardson, where he ends up going a lot higher than any of us think.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. He didn't help himself this year, though. That's the only thing that worries me.
Right.
Just the inconsistency, I think, will make some people nervous. But I mean, do I think he's capable? Yes. I think I'd like to see him have one more year of just improvement and development, especially within the pocket. But I don't know if he's gonna. I think I think he said it last year that he's leaving after this season.
Yeah, he's done, man. After the game, he kind of made his way around the stadium. Like he never planned on coming back. And it's it's time. I mean, it's just time.
Yeah, you don't see too many 3-year starters in college anymore.
No, and I mean, he's just done it. Like, I think we're ready to move on, and he's ready to move on. I think everybody appreciates everything that happened. Damn. But it's Ty Simpson. Look, man, it's Ty. Look, it's Ty Simpson's turn, man. It is. It's college. It's Ty Simpson's turn. Let's get him into the NFL. I've enjoyed watching him, but I mean, look, when you're going to go back and read the comments, and not many people are going to be like, "Hey, let's bring him back." They're gonna be like, "Hey, let's pull for you on Sunday."
I just can't go there. I like Jalen respected. I don't know. It's just.
Well, I'm not saying that as a disrespect, man. I love him. I mean, I've been his biggest fan. I'm just saying it's just time.
Yeah.
And look, here's I should clarify, because now you're making me feel like I'm taking a shot at him. From his vantage point, he's going to have more leverage leaving now. He's younger. The fact that he could come back to school is a little bit of leverage. You're going to make more money on that. Honestly, being where he's going to be in the draft, I feel sorry for Bryce Young. You get drafted early, first overall, you end up on a bad team, and everybody thinks you can't play. You look at Jalen Hurts. He ends up on the Eagles, right? They're a good team, and he's able to do the things he has to do with help around him, with receivers, with running backs, with offensive line. Well, so I feel like it's better on that. But I mean, I just think it's time for him to go learn the NFL game. And I think from Alabama's vantage point, if he stays, Ty Simpson's going to transfer. Maybe some of these other guys transfer as well out of that quarterback room. And you spent all this time getting them ready to be the guy. The game plan's always been for him to leave at the end of the year. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, that's what I've heard as well. I mean, this is the final year. I think that he's probably thinking that this year would go a little different,
right?
And more so improve his draft stock. I don't know where he's projected to go right now, but I don't think that he played himself into the first round, you know?
Yeah, but it's a premium position. You know, that's why I think like that it wouldn't surprise
I just
me.
tell you, I'd rather get drafted in the first round, make money up front, and you got some guarantees there. There's a lot of money and investment in you, so your job's pretty safe. You get into that fourth and fifth round, you know, that if you're not showing some signs of either improvement or value to the team, I mean, it's not a big loss if you're gone.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you better show up. If you're going to get drafted in those later rounds, you better show up like Dak Prescott and play like you know what you're doing and be able to lead the team and leave no doubt.
Right. So this is a weird position for us to be in, though. Sit back and wait. Alabama got a lot of great news so far. Everything's just been kind of like they're number 11. That's a good spot to be in. They're the top third ranked, three-loss team. You got Miami's loss, pushed them way down. You know,
so I haven't seen the new rankings from this week. We were doing that show yesterday, and I had the rankings from last week, I think, because I had Miami at number 6. Where are they right now?
I mean, well, let me throw this up on the screen for you. A couple things. Go ahead and give you this. So this right here is ESPN's like playoff predictor, right? So Alabama at 30%, but you got to remember, these two teams play each other, and I don't think you're going to have 2 ACC teams in.
I mean, whoever loses that is out, in my opinion.
That's what
yeah. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say that a loss should hurt your resume. Those two teams shouldn't be in front of Alabama anyway.
And these two teams are playing, Iowa State and Arizona State. Neither one of those teams should even be in there, but they're going to play because their conference, which stinks, is one of these conferences that gets the automatic bid. So that conference without Oklahoma and Texas is just not the same conference anymore. But that's that's kind of where we are with that. Now, the things that kind of were interesting to me are Caesar's odds right now. SMU is minus 300 to make it. Bama's minus 150 to make it. And South Carolina's plus 450. Miami's plus 850. Ole Miss is plus 3,500. And Army's plus 5,000. That's according to Mike Rodak.
Clemson?
They're not even on here. So
they're not even on there?
Not on this. So, but if Clemson wins, I mean, I'm sure they're automatically in because they win the ACC. So that must be if, I'm guessing that's if.
Yeah, but if they lose, I mean, if you're not going to penalize a team, I don't know.
So here's the top 25. This is I'll show you this here. This is the top 25 coaches and AP, and there's Bama at number 11. And SMU hasn't beaten a ranked team. Clemson just lost to South Carolina. Clemson's probably going to beat SMU. But if SMU wins, then I think it makes it a lot easier for Alabama because then Clemson's not going to make it. There's not that extra team in there. But tomorrow they'll have like I said, Tuesday they'll have the college football playoff, like the ranking show or the, whatever. And we'll know. I mean, if Bama's in that show playing at Notre Dame, like, then guess what? I mean, then you're talking about, okay, so I'm curious to see what happens. But the brand that Alabama brings, did they deserve to be in? If you compare it to what the, deserve means from years ago, no. But if you compare it to where we are right now, and you look at the teams that they're vying to get in.
Well, how are you calculating or determining who's deserving? I mean,
to me, it's the best teams.
If you threw Alabama in the Sun Belt this year, and they went 12-0. I mean, would you say they're deserving then? I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, if you go into the season playing nobody, I don't know how you say that's very deserving either.
Right.
I mean, I think we talked about this yesterday, and I absolutely love Florida State, and Florida State is it is a top-notch program. Not this year, but when you think Florida State long term, there's a lot of history and a lot of success there. And when you played the Clemsons, not so much Miami when I was there. You also always had Florida, but when you played the Marylands or the Wake Forests or the NC State was pretty loud. That was a pretty tough atmosphere at night. But you got 4 games a year where even when you play them at home, the stadium is not packed out. It's not. And then when you play them away, again, when we played Maryland, I'm over there throwing, and I can hear individual voices in the crowd yelling at me. I mean, it's not like you're playing in a place where you can't hear anything. It's just a crazy environment. The SEC is just different.
Yeah. It is. Well, final thoughts on this elephant in the room. We just kind of sit back and wait. We'll get back together later this week. We'll have the ranking show to kind of lean on and see what happens. But I got a good feeling about it, man. I think we're going to get in. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's close to 50-50. I think a little better than, just by the slightest margin. I've given Alabama the benefit of the doubt, but again, either way, we did this to ourselves. It's not like we beat Vandy and Oklahoma and all the teams we should have beat, and then just barely lost to Georgia or
right.
Tennessee. It's very odd. You got big wins, but you also got bad losses. It just doesn't make much sense, and it's self-inflicted. So,
Yep.
If we don't make it, it's not one of those things that's crazy to me,
Well, we can talk Cheez-Its though. You like the spicy Cheez-It?
Yeah. Well, after next week we'll do a Cheez-It taste test.
I don't mind Cheez-Its either. Actually, it's just the name is so funny though.
The hot and spicy Cheez-Its hard to beat.
Are they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm more of a Pop-Tart guy. I saw where they're going to have 3 Pop-Tart mascots this year. Did you see them? And they all ate the mascot last year.
No, I did not.
That's awesome. Yeah. Have you ever had a Pop-Tart?
Yes.
They're so good.
It's been a long time.
Do you? Yeah. Well, I have them for my son.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why you have
them. Have you ever had the ones with icing on them before?
I'm not sure. Yeah, that's like
plain Pop-Tart.
That's like
you just did the plain ones, huh?
That's like breaking out a bottle of bourbon and saying, "Oh, this is my wife's." I don't really delve into this too much, but
oh my goodness! Listen to this.
She loves it. She loves it when I drink bourbon.
All right. Well, look, roll tide, everybody. Get in the comment section. We'll have a better idea. All I can tell you is this: however you want to look at it, you go like that, or maybe I just want to go like this. However, I can go like that. I can use that hand. 5 straight. I loved it. Every bit of it.
Oh yeah. Hey, it's always good to beat a bug.
All right, guys. Roll Tide. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget, we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. use the promo code next round. And right at this moment, I'm doing you guys a favor with this. I want to throw this on the screen, and I want you guys to think very hard about the holidays and how your boy Mick's taking care of you with something to help you get through it. $300% deposit match. 300% deposit match for the casino and 50 free spins using the promo code next round. I can remember Big Elmo telling me all the time, like, hey, man, I'm over here playing again. Like he would have loved to have gotten 50 free spins. But it's fun. You got like all the casino games in there, and it's the best deal of the season. And why I'm hooking you guys up is because I know it's the holidays. Sometimes you're at the in-laws' house and nobody's really talking. You want to watch football and they're into like parades or like children's shows or like soap operas or, just stuff that you don't like. You can do this from your phone. Sit there and win money while, you're listening to your mother-in-law complain. Or maybe they're Auburn fans and they don't really have much to look forward to this holiday season. Promo code next round. Hey, also like, subscribe, thumbs up here on the Cover Crimson YouTube channel. And make sure you go to covercrimson.com and get in that message board and hang out with us there. That's Jake Coker right there. And I'm Mick Gillispie, reminding you guys again that we just whooped Auburn's ass for the 5th straight year. Talk to you later this week. Roll Tide.